Namaskar, my dear friends. I am going to narrate a story of a divine couple, and this story is from Yog Vasishtha. It is the story of King Shikirdhwaja and his learned wife Chudala. King Shikirdhwaja was the king of Malwa. His father had died when Shikirdhwaja was just 16 years of age. Even as a young teenager, he ruled his kingdom with great grace and solemnity. He was valorous, handsome, silent, and respectful. He had all the qualities that a dharmic king possessed. When he attained marriageable age, the ministers of his court suggested the daughter of the king of Saurashtra. Her name was Chudala. The wedding was arranged and they enjoyed each other's company for many years. Chudala, being trained in several arts right from young age, she taught music and dance to Shikirdhwaja. Being a dharmic and righteous couple, they soon transcended the mundane pursuits of royal life and turned inward for answers. The taste of youthful pleasure is soon succeeded by a distaste for it in old age. The freshness of plants in spring gives way to the dryness of autumn. Then, where is this world is that permanent pleasure and lasting good which never grows stale and is ever sweet and lovely. Therefore, we should seek that which will support us in all conditions of life and which will be remedy of all the evils that surround us in this world. They delved deep into scriptures and discussed with each other on a variety of spiritual and religious matters. Queen Chudala was so deeply involved with these learnings that she had a longing to taste the ultimate. Her constant thought was, how will I realize the imperishable one? All other knowledge is mere nothing, just like a second moon in the sky. There is only one consciousness in existence, and this is called the great entity, the sum total of all existence. Day by day, her understanding of herself and the Supreme Consciousness grew deeper and deeper. She understood that the whole existence is a Leela and how the same consciousness is contained in each person, just as gold exists in every piece jewelry but in different forms. She lived in complete bliss, not attached to the things around her. She was indifferent to material possessions but all the same displayed extreme calmness and serenity. Her mind was detached from the feelings of love and fear, of pride and pleasure, and quite insusceptible of all delusion. Her quest was so deep and sincere that she soon attained enlightenment and realized the God within her. Her sadhana and tapasya, her detachment and calmness, her solitude and bliss made her shine like the sun. She was adorned with newly beauty, and her facing was glowing with realization, and it was difficult to hide this transformation. Chudala's husband, Shikirdhwaja, noticed an unusual radiance in her appearance. When trying to engage her in a conversation, Chudala was constantly talking of self realization and how untrue worldly possessions were. Having never seen Chudala in such a state, Shikirdhwaja dismissed whatever she said and could not relate to the fact that a woman was talking of such deep matters. Mocked by Shikirdhwaja, Chudala keeps all the knowledge to herself but is constantly in the remembrance of the divine self. Destined to be an enlightened couple, the shallowness of material life was dawning on Shikirdhwaja. It soon came to haunt him. His heart, without hope of salvation, burned inconsolably in the flame of his anxieties. He was languishing under the intensity of his anxiety. As if suffering under the fiery heart of the sun, he sought some remedy for the worldly cares and haunted him constantly day and night. One day, in a casual conversation with Chudala in the forest, Shikirdhwaja opens up about the help, help, helpless state he is in and how he feels that living in the forest will help in get rid of this misery. Chudala disapproves this and says that it is not characteristic of a young king to go away to the forest. No, my royal lady, that your appeal is in vain. I am determined to go away from here. Know me as already gone from you and your kingdom to a retreat in woods far away from here. While Chudala was sleeping, Shikirdhwaja vanishes into the forest. Chudala was shocked to find her beloved husband missing when she woke up in the morning. Many years passed and Chudala was taking care of the affairs of the kingdom. She was waiting for the right opportunity to meet her husband as she knew. Through, through her personal experience that meeting him prematurely will disrupt his sadhana. When old age took over them, she went to the forest. Having mastered astral travel, Chudala moved in air like an invisible object and reached his hut. Before appearing to him, she had numerous thoughts crossing her mind. She materialized as a Brahmin boy and appeared before Shikirdhwaja. By looking at the boy's radiant appearance, the hermit king welcomed with a garland of flowers and treated him with veneration. The king asked the boy his lineage. The boy mentioned that he was the son of sage Narada and narrated the story of his birth. On a certain occasion, sage Narada had been attracted to few women who were playing in the water. Shikirdhwaja was shocked to hear that an enlightened sage like Narada had lost himself. The Brahmin boy explained in great detail the laws of action and consequences and how they bind us in each birth, and hence no one is free from these tendencies. The boy went on to narrate how he was born to seize Narada in a pot inside a cave. Brahma gave him the name Kumbha. Kumbha narrated the question he had asked Lord Brahma and the reply given by Lord. The conversation between Kumbha and Shikirdhwaja get deeper and deeper. Kumbha, Chudala in disguise, narrated the story of philosopher's stone which changed Shikirdhwaja completely. As the conversation between Kumbha, Chudala in disguise, and Shikirdhwaja get deeper and deeper, Shikirdhwaja gains a lot of clarity. One day, Kumbha points out how the king has not given up his ego yet. This was so deep that the king was speechless for some time and went into a deep state of samadhi. The self-governed Shikirdhwaja became awakened to his sense of Kumbha's admonition. For a moment the king remained silent with the light that shone within him. His pure consciousness returned to his mind and the blaze of his right knowledge burnt away the impurities of his attachment to the hermitage like a gust of wind driving dust from the ground. Shikirdhwaja then arose and went inside his hut. He brought out all his possessions and set them afire. He even threw his prayer beads and deer skin, his hide skin, water pot, mattress, meditation seat, and all that he said gradually went into the fire. He even set fire to his hut and declared that he is free from all burden and attachment. Now I am an all abandoning saint. I have abandoned all desire and every object. I wonder how I have lived for so long before being awakened to my right knowledge by the holy features of my heavenly child. Even after that, Kumbha Chudala points out that the king has not gotten rid of his attachments. The king is so frustrated that he became ready to jump into the fire. Kumbha clarifies that merely throwing the body into the fire does not relieve one of all the bondage. Only knowledge and experience of the fundamental principle can set him free. He who gives away his belonging in this life comes to possess them again in the future state, just as rivers that pour their water into the sea are again filled by flood tide. Then there is a long conversation between the two when Kumbha answers all the questions posed by Shikirdhwaja. After this, Chudala leaves the boy's body and returns to it after 3 days. She sees the king in deep meditation, hesitant to disturb him, but at the same time, in order to test him, she makes noises. Nothing is able to disturb the king. She then thinks he has left his body and she too is ready to leave her body. She, however, wanted to confirm if he had left his body. She left her own body and entered his and found that his heart was still pulsating. She awoke him by triggering a thought and Shikirdhwaja came back to his senses. There were many occasions in the mountains when Chudala, assuming the form of a beautiful woman, tested Shikirdhwaja. The king transcended all mundane emotions and emerged as a realized being. When Chudala was confident of her husband's attainment, she revealed herself. They returned to their kingdom. He ruled over his kingdom for 10,000 years. He and his queen gave up the burden of their bodies and expired together about the same time. 20. Having left his mortal frame, he obtained his nirvana like a lamp that has gone out for lack of oil. He attained the state in which the high-minded soul has no more to return and be reborn again.